So how to know if a guy wants just more than sex? Listen to learn. Listen to learn, notice how he approaches you, and notice how quickly he brings up sex. So he's not bad for bringing up sex. Men need sex in so many ways that are so much broader and deeper and richer and more important than women have been taught to believe. Oh my goodness. And they have had so much pain and hurt and wounds in the area of sex. And women think that, we've got, the territory on that, but it's not true. And when a man thinks a woman is special, he usually won't bring sex up soon because he doesn't want to scare her off, because he's hoping to have a chance she'll be part of his life. And if a man is just what they would call physically attracted, and again, we teach all about this in Making Sense of Men, which it's like takes a couple hours to read. If he's just physically attracted, which doesn't mean he's only attracted to a woman's body, it means the part of him that's drawn to her is his body, not his heart, not his spirit, not his intellect, just his body. If he's just physically attracted, then there's hardly anything to lose. He's responding at the most primitive level. And unfortunately, we both instinctually and culturally, we as women think that's how we're supposed to attract men, is to appeal to them at the most primitive level. And then we think they're unevolved. But we've literally called out their caveman. We've invoked the most primitive level and then judged them for it. If we don't invoke that in the first place by having a lot of sexual energy, advertising a lot of skin and curves, not trying to throw them off balance with sexual repartee. So if we're not representing ourselves that that's the biggest thing we have for sale, because we do trade in a lot of ways, many ancient trade sex for marriage, right? So if we're not representing ourselves that way, and a man still comes on to us that way, you just dismiss it, right? If we're representing ourselves that way, then we have something to do with a man approaching that way. And that's a good thing to correct and then see what happens. Boundaries, 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 by the way, all the time. If it's unwelcome, shut it down. And I just also recommend don't bring up sex, because that word itself is so powerful that once you bring it up, then to them, you've given them permission to interact about it. This is okay to talk about. So then he'll start talking about sex. And then you won't know. You'll have to keep watching for longer. But a simple way to tell if a man is just responding to your picture with, oh, I'd like to tap that, is first of all, watch your picture and watch how quickly he brings up sex. If that's what he leads with, that's what he's looking for. And it doesn't mean he's a bad person any more than a hungry person saying, do you have food, would be a bad person. It just may not be what you're looking for. And if you listen to In Sync with Opposite Sex, which is a recording of a live workshop, it's my belief that all of society will be transformed when it's okay for anybody, male or female, to just have a straight conversation about, I'm looking for sex, without moralizing or that you're supposed to be looking for a relationship, which, by the way, is another thing about dating. Women often date in order to find a relationship, and they often assume that men are dating in order to find a relationship. And because they don't know how much men get out of just getting to spend time with a woman, what feminine, female energy, how different we are than them, how much it nurtures them. That spending 3 hours with a woman is something worth doing, just because of the delight and the lift to one's spirit that being with her provided. So another reason I'm not pro dating is it doesn't necessarily get us where we think we want to go. And all those steps and all those benchmarks, we talk about them in Seek with Opposite Sex. Men don't have those benchmarks. They didn't get those memos. So they're not trustworthy to do what you're supposed to do after 3 months of dating, after 9 months of dating. They don't know what they're supposed to do. So you can't trust them to do it. But a woman knows and thinks it's reasonable to expect, and that everybody knows. Ay, ay, ay.